Welcome to another episode of Tea Time Talks. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday so far. As you can see, I'm in some incredible company this afternoon. Lucky me. I have Nayim, Gus Poyet, as well as Andrea Orlandi. Hello to the three of you. How are we doing today? Nice to see you.
How are you, Semra?
Good. All good, thanks.
So the reason I wanted to bring the three of you together is because you have so many interesting things in common between the three of you, right? Nayim, Gus, you played together at Zaragoza. Gus, you were Andrea's manager at Brighton. Andrea, Nayim, you both came through the youth system at Barcelona. You were both players, former players, and now manager. You're both, all of you now rather, are all pundits. You all work together now, you're colleagues at LaLiga TV. But the one thing, I don't know, have you guys ever actually come in contact with one another at the channel? Because other than a Wednesday show, you would never really see each other, right?
Yeah,
we have actually.
Have you? Okay.
Yes. Me and Gus, we had a couple of programs together there. I actually enjoyed it a lot, and I think we had good fun and commentating a few games. And with Nayim, I've had the honor to join him a few times as a pundit in La Liga TV.
Okay, amazing. Because obviously, I see all of you on one-on-one situations on the weekend. I never get to get all of you guys together. So I thought it could be fun to bring you all together now. So to start off the conversation, I asked all of you to bring something special, something that means something to all of you, maybe something that also sparks memories between all of you as well. So Nayim, I know you brought something.
Yeah, I've got a few things. We spoke yesterday about it, and it's one thing with Gus, with Poyet, and it was his Chelsea contract.
He told me I needed to ask you about this. Something about
his Chelsea
translating.
Contract. They sent him the contract by fax, and he couldn't speak a lot of English at that time. He said to me, "Just please, Gigi." I was called Gigi at Zaragoza between my teammates. I said, "Just read the contract if everything is all right." Okay, I just read it. I changed one thing, because it was a thing that if he wanted to leave on his own decision, I said, well, this is not good for you, because if you're not happy at Chelsea, you can go for free. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what one of the things. Another thing is that on the pitch when we used to play, and it was a rival. That's doing damage to us. We were saying, well, we have to go after this guy. Who's going to start?
That's a special day. I don't know if we can say names.
Go for it. Say names. Reveal all.
It was a big game. It was a big game that I was playing. We were playing together. And the other team got a player sent off. It was Athletic Bilbao, okay? Got a player sent off. And we had a few challenges of a few things against them, and I kind of push Gigi in a gym. I encourage him to go and do someone.
And tackle him.
He did tackle
somebody, okay, and he did.
I don't think it was as bad as the consequences, because he was sent off. Okay.
So moral of the story is don't listen to Gus.
No, tell you what. But then
we went always like that.
And in the tunnel, people was very upset with him because we were 11v10, and because he made that challenge, now we are 10v10. Now I remember reacting to those comments in the tunnel, because it was my shut up, telling everybody shut up. Luckily in the second half we were able to go and win the game, and nothing happened. But sometimes when people behind you telling you what to do, you need to be careful. Yeah.
I mean, guys, it talks a lot. I mean, for the team, it was very important in every sense. Not only on the pitch, it was very important in the dressing room. Right. He's a competitive guy, and he gave us so many things. Off the pitch. Put him the dressing room together, talking all the time with all the players, and that was important to the success we had. Afterwards, I remember when I first came, I said, "Well, this guy he's Uruguayan. He's got it in the blood." Anyway, but it was unbelievable to came on that team and to see the quality of that team. I remember my first training in the circle. It was like, Jesus, I just came to the right team because he was so much talent in that team. I just really enjoyed it. And this guy, he was just so competitive in every single training. Yeah. He hated losing. I mean, he used to go mad when he. Concha de tu madre.
Don't say too many. Don't say too many things.
No, we won't translate it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Also, I want you to comment on what Gigi said about Chelsea.
Yeah.
For me, it was a big change. Okay, I was 7 years in Zaragoza, comfortable. I knew what I needed to do. I had my house. My kids were born in Zaragoza, and it's coming this opportunity to go to England, and it was like not an easy decision.
Yeah.
And he was always telling me, "You're gonna love it. It's perfect for you. Don't be afraid of this. Don't be afraid of that." You know, I was trying to tell me things that will maybe work for me, to take it in a nice way. And after talking to him for many days, I told at that time my agent, I said, "Okay, call Chelsea now. You know, like now is the time. We do it now, or we don't do it." And it was so quick. This is a Monday, midday after training, near the training of Zaragoza. And the guy is talking to the people from Chelsea on the phone, and he's in English, whatever he was saying. Couldn't understand. And he looked at me and said, "Oh, Thursday, they're coming from England." And I say, "This Thursday? Now in 3 days' time?" And the CEO of Chelsea, Colin Hutchinson, flew to Zaragoza.
Oh, wow.
We had dinner. We went to his room in the Hotel Boston, and everything was kind of done in there. And I was like, you know, when you're against the wall, like, now I
know the choice, I need to go.
It was a great decision. I'm not saying leaving Zaragoza because it was different times, but it changed my life in other situations. Not only financially, obviously, but also the way that, okay, I'm still living in England, no? Which is, it means so much for me as well. So it helped me a lot to make that decision.
So Andrea, what was it like to have someone like us, so competitive, such a great footballer, with the personality and the charisma that he has? What was it like to have him in the locker room, but obviously as the one in charge?
Well, I think that Nayim described him perfectly. He's a winner. He wants to win, no matter what. He used to get very angry if the training wasn't going the right way.
So that didn't change.
I have to say that as a team, we had a really good season. We were good guys. We trained well, and there was only one time when he actually lost it and stopped training. And so we started running. So there was one situation when he said, "Listen, I've had enough now," and told us, "Listen, you're not going in the right way. Or you follow me, or we're gonna be running for the rest of the season." So it only happened once, but as a manager, he was great. I have to say he knows that. I've always told him, and he got the best out of me, not only from me, but from the rest of the players. Obviously, I haven't been as big as Nayim and himself, but I honestly felt that I was much better than what I actually was, and he was the reason behind it. And I have here the shirt I used.
Nothing but love for you guys. Nothing but love.
Yeah.
This is my shirt. This is my first game at the Amex at home for Brighton. And as I was coming on, I always say that he asked me where I wanted.
I don't know if Gigi knows this that you're gonna say when I call you.
He asked me before coming on. He asked me, "Where do you want to play?" And I said, "Well, you are the coach. You tell me." And he went right, left, in the middle, whatever. You are the best. Just play where you want. And I thought, wow. Brilliant. So that's brilliant because I came on thinking I was the best. and that was it for the rest of the season. Full confidence, good performances. It was. It was very demanding. We had times where he confronted me saying, "Listen, Andrea, you have to do this, of course." But, he gave me full confidence and I had probably my best season.
Well, we actually have a Brighton fan who's watching us right now. So hold that thought for a second. His name is Calvin Brown, and he just wanted to say hi, everyone. And he wanted to thank you, Andrea, as well as you, Gus, for everything. And he wanted to know as well what some of your favorite memories were of your time together at Brighton.
Oh, difficult. No, we had a great year. I was trying to say to Andre first. Thank you, Andre. That we got so many stories. I mean, we were in a position where when a coach is so many years in a club and is able to start bringing very specific players, like Andrea. Andrea's a very specific player. It's not like you go and say, I want an offensive midfielder, one number 10, and you say, okay, this one. No, it was certain characteristics, certain positions in the pitch. You know how it will do certain things. Obviously, like me, like anyone, like Gigi, it's something that you need to push him a little bit more. For example, he told last time when we talked, running back or following a runner, which, no, listen, I learned it in England. Yeah. I came to England and I was playing naturally in zone and moving around. And one day, Dennis Wise, famous Dennis Wise at Chelsea, said to me, hey, follow your running. And everything is coming out in English, bad English. And I said, what? I said, defenders are there. No, mate, you follow the runner. And I said, wow. And you start really going that way a little bit more than you're used to. And I was already 30 years old. So then when I came to management, I knew that certain players were, a little bit more difficult because they are used to do certain things. But the best thing for me working with them was we set up a way of playing. And then inside that way of playing, it was them. Maybe they don't know. I think Andrea knows because he's very intelligent. It was them deciding on the pitch what to do depending on the position. It was not me telling them right now, left like a joystick, no? Yeah. No. We train all the situations. We explain them why. We put them in a position that they were happy to play. And then it was up to them. Up to them to find the spaces, up to them to take a player away, up to them to make the right decisions, up to them to score or to assist. Because at the end, the ones that play is the players. And as an example is, we have a way of playing when we were down to 10 or when the opposition was down to 10. And we went to play Wolves, where Wolverhampton Wanderers away. And even if people won't believe me, Andrea finished the game second half playing left back. Okay?
I think he's told me about this story, actually.
We played 4 at the back, but the two split, and the 2 fullbacks were wingers, practically. And he had a role in that function of making the right and midfielder and right back to be worried about him. And if he was keeping those 2 players, we even have an extra. We were 11v10, but now Andrea was keeping 2, and in the other side the same. And then we started controlling the game. You don't imagine how. That's a game to have to finish 7-1. We were losing 1-0. And we drew 3-3. So imagine me after the game in that dressing room with this guy. Okay?
I'm not sure I want to imagine it, actually. But
okay. I can imagine it.
I can imagine it.
And then the way back from Wolves to Brighton by bus. Okay? Tell the story about Tano, my assistant, why he done with the TV. We had Saturday nights, we were watching always 2 or 3 programs that were in TV that were very good. And that day, my assistant coach got the remote control and Andre?
And we had cartoons for 4 hours in the bus because he was telling us that we were kids. Because we lost the game, we had all the control, but and I think the captain tried to actually talk to you and tell you that to change the channel, please.
Can we have the remote control? And it was because it was 3 hours later. Tano went like, all right. I was watching cartoons. I remember he was checking the channels and there were cartoons for the kids at the back. There were kids that we were having. It was interesting.
One thing about Gaza was, Gus was telling about the player's decision on the pitch.
Right.
We used to him and myself. We used to do like that when the game wasn't going well. We used to talk. We were saying, "Hi, we have to change something here. What we can do," and then you can read the game, and we could change the game into the pitch, the players. At the end of the game, the football is the players' game. It's not the manager game or the coach game. At the end, the decision that Gus was talking about, the player has to make the decision. You can't go, with megaphone just saying, "Now you go right, now you go left, now you go." And that's the manager has to to try to player believe in himself and do that kind of thing. Obviously, you need an intelligent players. That's very important to have the players that can read the game. And that's why I understand Gus as a manager, because I coach as well. When the player comes and say, where do you want to play? Where you feel more comfortable? That's what happened to me with Johan Cruyff. That I said, anywhere. Just give me the ball. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry about the rest. Just give me the ball. I can do things happen. But that's true. That's true. I mean, it's very important to have those kind of players like Andrea, that's an intelligent guy, to make the right decision depend of the game. And that's what we used to do. Gus and myself and some other players into the team. It was a man team, and it was easy to play like that, because we could change the game like this just because we could read the game.
Gigi, you were saying just now, it's important because my way of communicating with the players during the game, and Andrea knows, is whistle. You know, like, because I was a player, and I remember my coach shouting at me, and you were like 40 yards away, noisy, and the manager saying, well, oh yeah, you're right, yeah, I'm playing. So I would like the players to do the same, except when it's something really dangerous or bad, where you have to communicate with a player, and that's why I use the whistle. Yeah.
And I remember one game especially against Leicester City at home, where I didn't follow. It was telling about following the runners. I didn't follow the fullback back, so he whistled to me. So he didn't need to do anything else. So I just looked. So he looked back and I said, okay, yes.
Sorry, I was doing my job.
And I found the program of that game against Leicester, and
amazing.
And Leicester had Harry Kane and Jamie Vardy. Do you remember, guys? On the bench. On the bench.
Wow.
They weren't even starting that game, and they came on, and we drew that game 1-1. But as a team, we were better. But obviously,
just to finish about what we were saying with Andre and Gigi as well, is we were planning games. I, as a coach, you watch the position and you know how they play. And I don't know if you remember, Andrea, one game specifically at home against Cardiff. Cardiff City was near the top, and it was a very good team. Okay, and they have big players. Bellamy. I don't know if it was the same year or the year before that you were there. Well,
I wasn't there the Cardiff game. It was before I came. I played away at Cardiff.
Away. So the situation was they were a very offensive team, and they were playing to win the title. So you plan the game, you show the players, you show videos, you say, okay, they're going to do this, you're going to do it. And then the game starts, and Cardiff drops and doesn't press and doesn't care about attacking. And now, what can I do? After 3 minutes, the players are looking at me and say, what happened here? Play. Now the situation, you are there, okay, we plan for all the games for a situation like that, but not that particular week. So that's why then it's up to them to move the ball, to find the spaces, to be surprised, even for good, saying, oh, look at Cardiff, how much respect they give us. Okay, we want to play. Then I knew after 15 minutes I needed to make a change. Right. Because we were missing a main big striker that can hold the ball in a different way that we were trying to play. But that didn't mean that I was wrong or they were wrong. It's just something that happened in the game. And if they don't sort it out, I can help them a little bit, maybe the second half. I changed once. I don't know if you were there as well. I changed only once at Brighton in the first half.
I don't remember that.
I made a decision because we were having problem with the fullbacks, and I decided one game to play 3 at the back, and we were awful, really bad.
That happens.
Really bad. And after 25 minutes, I had to change Louis Dunk, which is the captain of Brighton, and I was trying, with gestures, to tell the people that it was me. It was not Dunky. It was not his problem. It was me the problem. But I needed to take him out. And I had to go to the press conference. And before even start the press conference, I would like to say that I made a mistake. And I didn't want to wait until 45 minutes to correct it. But it's not nice. I can't tell you because I put myself. If you put my number after 25 minutes.
Talking about that, Gus, I remember my worst game ever. My worst game ever.
Oh boy, enlighten us.
It was against Seville away. I mean, we used to play 4 in the back because there were few injuries, and and the manager, thought, well, we can play 3 in the back and 2 go in.
Wing backs.
Wing
That's
backs, yeah.
how you call it in English.
Wing backs.
Wing backs. That's right. Wing backs. I was at that time a right wing back. The thing, I need the ball. I need the ball, and it was Sevilla, like with Zucker, with Moya, and
oh wow,
they knew where the hole was, and that was in my side. I remember my brother, called me after. He said, "You should, the manager should change you, mate, because you had the worst game in your life." I was all over the place running around the ball because he changed the system. And that's what happens sometimes, the managers got a mad attack in their head, and they think one thing, and then another thing happens in the game. And that was unbelievable. They were talking about, changing the system.
No, it's interesting that you mentioned your worst game, because usually everybody talks about the highlights of everybody's careers and the best things that happened to them. So now I'm curious, Gus and Andrea, what were some of your worst performances? Or the ones that say that actually helped you grow the most? Things that you learned from, especially from a manager point of view, to say, this didn't work when I was a player, so now that I'm a manager, I'm going to try it differently. Like, for example, maybe Andrea was your guinea pig, for example, trying to make things work. I don't know. So what were some of the things that you learned from some of those bad performances that you had?
Well, I think that you only learn when you make mistakes. And I've made a few, and obviously now thinking about having bad games, I remember my debut in the Premier League when I was at Swansea, and I came on at Wolves once again, winning 2-0, and we ended up the game drawing, and we could have lost it easily, and I was one of the main reasons the team collapsed, because the manager Brendan Rodgers at the time decided to play me as a holding midfielder. Mm-hmm. Where I hadn't played yet at the time, and after the game I was the one to blame, and he was probably right, and the fans were right, to have a go at me. So that's a game that stands out as one of my worst games. And but I took it on the chin. It was a lesson to learn, and next time I made sure that I was ready if the manager was gonna call me upon. So in football you have many setbacks. And it's all about how you bounce back and how you react. Because the season with Gus, there was a moment where I wasn't playing too well, and then he showed me the stats. Mm-hmm. I remember we were going to Blackburn playing away from home, and he showed me, you lost, I don't know how many balls I'd lost. You've tried to nutmeg the player 3 times and you lost it. You need to improve. And we played at Blackburn, and I got subbed after 5 minutes in the second half. Because I wasn't playing well, and the next game I didn't start the game. And then after, he came to me and he said, as Gus is, I don't know how, but when you play, we play better. So I'll have to play you. It's not like because you play well. And I was back in the team, but that was a warning sign. Like, Andrea, you need to react and to improve. So I always taken the positives out of negative situations. Obviously, I suffered a lot. I remember that game at Wolves. After in the dressing room, I could see the disappointment from my teammates, like looking at me and and feeling that I was responsible for what happened on the pitch. So right. This is probably one of the moments that now comes out to my mind.
Yeah. I more than games, full games. I remember specific actions like responsibilities. Okay. Some ones that I couldn't put it right until 10 years later, or for example, I used to be a player who scored certain quantity of goals a season.
Right.
And then I started playing finals. Our first final against Real Madrid, I had a great chance at the header in Valencia, and I missed it. And then we went to the Copa del Rey, it was a hopeful one the following year, and then with the Winners' Cup, and I started going through finals without scoring. And normally it gets in your mind, what happened here? Okay, and years later, I was lucky to score in a final in a Super Cup against Real Madrid with Chelsea. Right. But it was always that miss against Real Madrid in Copa del Rey in 1983 that stuck there in my head. I'm still heading that ball and again and again.
Head it down.
But I couldn't put it right. But for example, there's another one that I remember very well, the semi-final of Copa del Rey at home. We came back home and we were drawing. Game was equal. And in the last minute, the man I was marking, Roberto Rios, scoring top.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
I got an excuse, okay? And I can tell you, I was trying to help a teammate in front of me. And when I moved, the guy jumped on top of me and I was dead. And now we go to extra time. Now, that day gave me the chance to recover inside the pitch because I scored the equalize and then 2-1 and then 3-1 and we went to the final.
3-1, yeah. I remember that game.
Coming back to what Andrea said, is how do you react? I was only thinking, that was me. Now I need to put it right now. I cannot wait a second. Yeah, it was like it was inside me because it happened, okay? And that's what you learn, because that's why when I train after with Andrea, I was saying to them, when I say to you to man mark, it means that you feel the responsibility of marking that man. Now, if somebody else, it's other people, they're going to be responsible to try to help it. But if you start thinking about them, and then you're mad, like we start thinking too much, it becomes a problem. So trust your teammate. He's going to mark his mate. You're going to mark. Of course, the most dangerous, we talk about many, many things, but the responsibility for doing your job. And Andrea knows, I'm defender, but I had a role in corners against, and he knew his role, bottom line. Then, that one day you don't do it well in football. But if you do it most of the time well, I'm happy because I was a player and I know those responsibilities. I lost a game with Uruguay where the man I was marking scored and we lost 1-0 against Paraguay.
all the country behind you.
Yes, I can hear.
There's no excuses. When the ball came, I went to jump and the guy jumped early like the old Daniel Pasarella, and he was on top of me and he didn't allow me to jump and he scored. And what can I do? So that's what I said to you. More than games, there is certain actions that affected me and made me the person I was after, or why I do the things that I do because of what happened to me in those games.
Oh, that's incredible. And talking about other moments that really shapes your careers and everything. Nayim, we talked about this, what was it, last week when we were chatting?
Yeah.
We talked about that wonderful goal in Paris. Gus, you were on the pitch that day. You weren't that far away from me. You were only like a few meters away. I mean, how did you experience that moment when you saw, his goal go in? I mean, it was unbelievable.
I know sometimes, when you're in front of someone, it looks like, Andrea was talking about me before and I was covering my eyes because it's a little bit embarrassing for ourselves. But he knows because we talk about this in Gigi. He changed our life. That goal changed the life of a group of players that today is still in a group on the WhatsApp talking daily.
That's awesome.
Okay?
Unbelievable.
Awesome.
Crazy.
To watch a game like they're showing now because of the situation that we are at home. Right. They're showing games from the past. And when the game is on TV, we writing to each other about the actions that they are happening.
Every single action.
And the entire squad, all of you are in the same WhatsApp group.
All of us.
Oh, that's lovely. That's wonderful. Okay?
And that moment, look, we won the Copa del Rey together.
Right.
And we went back to Zaragoza, and it was spectacular. Now, Semra, you don't imagine what that goal of Nayim, because it's the end, brought into Zaragoza as a city. Yeah. Okay? I always say it was an old fan base at the stadium. And from one day to the next, there were all young people in the stadium. They were all kids going to school with the shirt of Zaragoza before it was Real Madrid, Barcelona. Naturally. Right. Like in most of them. So it changed completely the life of so many people. Now, he's playing to you. I imagine that he knew that Zeman was always playing ahead of the goal, and he talked to me and to Santi Aragon to try. I couldn't. Santi tried once, and he didn't hit it well. So he knew that was an option, which is fantastic because before the game and you are able to do it during the game, which is perfection. But he probably doesn't understand that what happened to all of us after that.
Yeah.
To himself, okay?
To myself
I said once, for me in Parc des Princes, and I don't know if there is, Gigi, but there should be, for me behind that goal, it should be something, remember that goal. And I'm not talking because of him, because it's unique. It's not going to happen ever. There are things that happen once, and it happened to us, okay? And then, not to be, in a place, but the reaction of what happened to us as a group and what it brought together is what it lasts. Now we are 25 years after that. We were trying to get together with the families. It's not going to be possible because of what's happened now. But we were planning not to do a game. We cannot move. Yeah. To do a dinner. Yeah. No, we were trying to go all to Paris.
Oh, that would have been incredible.
Now
you can still do it when all of this comes down.
Hopefully. Yeah, you can do it any year. The idea here it was that it's 25 years of that moment, and I'm still thinking that when something unique happened, everybody knows where it was that day. Okay, I was on the pitch. Easy to say, I'm looking like, what are you doing? Okay, but in Zaragoza, you talk to people, especially people over 30, 40 years, maybe 40 years old. And they tell you, when Nayim scored, I was here in the at the pavilion, in the basketball court. I was in Paris. I was in my, town. I was watching the game with my friends. Everybody knows where was that moment that Nayim scored the goal who made us be okay. Remember forever as I was.
That's incredible. I love that story.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. Everyone knew I was doing that day because every time that people came to me said, well, I was doing this and that, doing this. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how important for the fans, and a few other people. I remember I went to Singapore about two years ago to play, with an old players and all that. And everyone that knew what I was doing at that day, and that was 23 years after, But the most thing about that goal is, that bunch of players, they give me the chance to make that goal. And that's important. I never said, it's goal. They call it golden Nayim, and I don't like it. I just don't like it. I said, I mean, that goal is going to be goal of that team of I don't know. Real Zaragoza 95 or because it was a dream team. I mean, even Guardiola afterwards said, I learned a lot from Deportivo La Coruña, Super Deport, like Bebeto, Mauro Silva, Donato, and I learned from that Zaragoza, Santi Aragon, Poyet, Pardesa, myself, and a lot, and the rest of them. And another thing, it was the dressing room, that dressing room. I mean, one guy that can win a game, but that bunch of guys, they can win the titles. And that what happened. That was so important. And Gus, not because he's here, he knows what I think about him. It was a key man because he could defend, and sometimes he didn't play very well with the ball, but that he's going to compete, and at the same time. What easy to play with him, because I remember when I have ball, I used to play on the left hand side, and when I get the ball, I get inside. He knew that if he runs, I can,
it was coming.
And he scored so many important goals in those seasons. I remember he came from France. I don't know, playing in second division, Gus.
Rubbish. I was bad. I was so bad. I cannot blame anyone. I was so bad.
I said, it's impossible, Gus. It's impossible that you're coming from the second division in France. I mean, you are a top, more class player, and it was so complete. And that that goal meant a lot to me, and thanks a lot to my teammates. A lot for the fans. Obviously, the Zaragoza city went crazy. Not only in Zaragoza, like all around, and that's what it's about football. is making people happy. I always, and he knows that I love doing trick with the ball and all that. Always I came to the pitch. Obviously, I have to win first. That's as a professional, you have to win. That's the first thing. But at the same time, I really enjoyed it. I just trying to make things that's the fans enjoy. Even the warm up. I remember when I used playing the bench, the people used to stay, not going to the bar to have a drink or something, to see me warming up. I knew that, and I used to love it, feeling that people are, enjoying what I was doing, and that's important, I think, for the youngsters to start saying, first you have to win, but then enjoy the game. Yes,
and
Gus.
Gus, you have something special to show us as well, too, don't you? Related to all of this.
I will show you that. And I will say something important. Yeah. This is something that, they call us so many names in Zaragoza. And we don't think we are anything they call us. We were football players that we go together at the right time. And before I show you, I will say, when we lost the final, the Copa del Rey final, we come back to Zaragoza in the bus the day after the final from Valencia, and it was no one. It was a normal day. And we went to Zaragoza, and we went to the stadium, and we went to get the cars, and it was nothing. A year later, lucky enough, we went to the final again, and we won it, and when we came back, it was incredible. But Semra and Andre, I'm telling you, I know there is cities all over the world when something happened that is coming out. But for a player like Zaragoza to do what they done the day that we won the Winners' Cup, you don't imagine. Look, Victor Fernandez, who was very clever, he used always the right words to describe things. He said one day, it's the biggest or massive social celebration ever in Aragon, in the area of Zaragoza.
Right.
And when he said it, I thought,
come on, I don't believe you.
Also in the history, there is something. But of course, we didn't live those. And knowing what we done, it was incredible. Now, because of what we done with Gigi, they made us a little present that you're going to see there. Don't say what it is, Andrea. Well, you can say it, but they're going to come to my house. Which
keep it top secret then.
It was. We had a president who was a unique person. I don't know if you know the old Solans, the owner of a company in Zaragoza, that he was as demanding, as close to us. He was like a grandfather for us. And as soon as we done certain things, he was always trying to give us either a watch or something to celebrate what we done. And there is moments that we're getting old that you find these things because we got situation like today that you go, wow, I didn't even remember. I think I'm going to start using it soon, with the Zaragoza thing. But it was like any team, a special moment in a special place with special people.
Right.
If you don't have that group that is still together today, it's difficult you're going to achieve things the way we done.
Yeah. And Andrea, do you feel like you have anything like that as well? I mean, in terms of something that stands out so much in your mind that was so special, so unique, where all of the stars aligned and everything just came together perfectly, in a way even better than you could have expected?
Well, obviously, it's you can't compare it with what Nayim and Gus just described. I remember where I was when Nayim scored that goal.
Really?
I was watching the game at home with my parents, and my dad used to love Nayim as a player. But for me, the unique thing is actually a player thinking from that distance that he is going to score, because if he tried, it's because he knew he had the quality to do that. So that tells you how good it was. But for me, I think that the story I experienced with Swansea, when I signed for Swansea in League One, only a small club in Wales that no one ever heard of them, and in 4 years we managed to get into the Premier League. And every season we were hot favorites to get relegated because we had the lowest budget. But every year we were improving, and we got to the Premier League. For me, that's quite remarkable. And my medal, my Wembley medal, and as a winner, a playoff winner, is probably the moment that stands out for me. We couldn't do it at Brighton, and we probably had a better team at Brighton, and we were unfortunate to to don't do that. But I could feel at Brighton the same I was feeling while I was at Swansea. Same type of players. We didn't have the best budget. We had a great manager. We had a great group of players, and unfortunately we couldn't get promoted. But obviously, the story at Swansea, at a club where no one heard of, with humble players. Our wages were very low, and I remember playing against teams with big players and on big wages, and think, well, we're gonna go for it, and and week after week we're getting better and growing as a club. And now, Swansea now is in the Championship. But I remember when we first got there, we didn't have a training ground. We used to wash our own clothes, our own boots. It was quite small, and now Swansea they got 2 training grounds. It's a completely different setup, and we are part of that. So I'm quite proud to say that I was one of the players that helped Swansea in that journey.
Now, completely changing topics here. All of you, obviously the three of you, you've never really spoken English to each other before, right? You always speak presumably in Spanish.
That's right.
And all three of you have a remarkable level of English. But obviously when you moved to England, it wasn't like that, right? So do you have any funny stories about...
I'm going to... My one is very simple. Very simple, my one. The worst for me, it was the phone. I swear. You were at home, telephone ring, you get it, and you pray, Spanish. And when they say, hello, you go, minute, 1 minute. Looking for my wife. She's talking English, and give it to her. Say, I don't know who is he, I don't know what he's saying. It was tough for me. Imagine, Gigi knows me. I couldn't talk. I couldn't participate in a meeting. I couldn't talk to the manager in a way that he knew me. And incredibly, an injury, because I got the injured crucial ligament in my first year, helped me to be inside a club, inside a country, living things, but without playing, learning the language. So when I came back from the injury, I was ready to be myself, we can say. But that telephone thing for me was the key. I don't know you too. Come on, go on. Tell us.
Who wants to go next?
Mine is quite embarrassing. I don't know.
That's what we're here for, Andrea. So it's okay.
My level of English was terrible, and obviously I got a cold, a bit of a flu. And how do you say in Spanish that you've got a cold? Estás constipado.
Wow. So
I went to see the doctor, and I said, listen, I'm constipated. and he gave me the tablet to ease the process of. So as I got back home, and I looked at the tablet. I go, well, this is not for a flu. So I just went back the next day, and he said, how you feeling? I said, and I had fever. And this is when I realized, okay, that what constipated was in English.
You're like, well, at least, my bowel movements are okay, but everything else is not working very well.
I told you that was a bit embarrassing, so this was...
That's a great story.
Yeah, I have 3 months of stories of that, because I didn't have a zero English, nothing. I used to, to study French in Spain. We used to study French at that time. I remember when I went to Tottenham, I went to live in a hotel that was Paul Gascoigne, Paul Stewart, Eric Thorford, and Gudni Bergson. And 3 months of a hell with Gaza, with having a go at me. Say to the waiter this, and I was, swearing to the waiter. Ask this, what you want to eat? This, ask for this, and I was asking for pork. I can't eat pork. It was 3 months of a hell. That's not a word of English. I just wanted to go to the city. I couldn't get a taxi to say, take me to this place, or even get a ticket from the, like underground. It was terrible. 3 months. The first 3 months, I just stayed in a hotel, had a meal in a hotel, and 3 months like this, like where we're now, just like inside, the hotel. That's my 3 months, because I couldn't, and Gaza, the accent, he's got a Newcastle accent, and it's very close. Like, hurry up, mate, are you going tonight? I said, what the hell are you talking about?
English.
This is not English. This is like Russian or something like that. And it was 3 months, having, a good time, laughing, but at the same time, that guy was just terrible. And the teammates was, backing him. But after 3 months, that's when I started. Why? Just reading the newspapers. Mm-hmm. The newspapers, and watching TV. That's the way I learned English, because they put me, one woman to learn English, a teacher. They put me a teacher, and it just for 1 week, because the teacher she didn't want to teach me English. You know what I mean?
She gave up. She said, "No, sorry, you're on your own."
She had a little kid, and I was learning more with the kids than when I said to the boss. I don't need a teacher. Just let Gaza teach me.
Well, apparently it worked out pretty well, because your English is
and I learned the northern accent as well. Oh God!
So we have some questions coming in from people who are watching us. So I want to make sure that I get them in. From Fabio, he wants to know, Andrea, when the first time was that you came in contact with Andres Iniesta.
Well, quite early, because it's from my same year, 1984, and he was signed by Barcelona when he was only 12. So we kind of played against each other in the youth ranks, and then we played together in the let's say national team of Catalonia, right. Under 15s and under 17s, and obviously when I signed for Barcelona, we trained together with the first team, and a fantastic guy. He was the same when he was 12 and after as a professional. Very shy, very humble, very quiet, very professional, and always there to give you a hand if you needed to, and to help you. And as a player, he was just unreal. I remember one game playing against him, and he was only 14. So he was with his back to the goal. I just went to mark him, but he knew I was there. But obviously, I didn't know that he knew. So when I was quite close, closing him down, getting the ball from him, he just actually chipped it over me. And my reaction was, the only thing I could do, I slapped him. So the referee blew the whistle, and he just looked at me like he reacted, and I said, sorry. That's the only thing. That was my reaction. So I slapped him, tried to stop him. So that's how good he was. Already at a young age.
Sorry, just to follow. Do you think he can be a manager, or he can be better than an assistant manager, from your opinion, Andre? Iniesta,
for me, it's difficult. I can't see him as a manager.
Obviously, from outside, I agree. Yes.
He would be respected for what he's achieved as a player, but then when you become a manager after, when the players give you that period of time, then you need to actually show some. Actually, I wouldn't say charisma, but obviously you need to be exactly. You need to like yourself or.
Huevos.
No. Yes, for example, I can't see myself as a coach for the same reason. I can't be a coach for the same reason. I think I would be.
We are the same as a players. When you're a player, you sit down in there and you listen to the coach. And depending what you're saying, seeing,
what you're
feeling, how he talks to you, the thing he says, or how long it takes, or then you get attracted, or you go. So sometimes it's personality, charisma, something that will attract. Obviously, in the beginning it will be easier. Everybody will be there looking at him like, okay, it's Iniesta.
Yeah.
But does he have the character to do that regularly for years and hours? From outside, I don't know. I don't know in person. I never met him. It doesn't look like.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I can be a great assistant. No? Sometimes assistant is spectacular because you are there, you're helping, you bring a lot of experience and knowledge, but then you let the other person to be the front man, and you can be as valuable as a coach, but from a different position, which is.
I see him more as a really good assistant, more than actually a first team coach, a manager.
Well, speaking of someone who is getting his coaching badges, Lauren. You all know Lauren. He's watching us right now. So hello, Lauren. Hope your studies are going really well. And Graham is with us too. Graham Hunter, everyone. So hello to you as well.
Top man, Graham.
Hi, boy.
Top man. I loved it. I loved it.
And then Gus, there's a question for you as well too. Your most memorable games as both a player and a manager, and why?
Well, as a player, I said we played probably 500, 600 games. I don't know how many. Me in particular, I remember those bad mistakes, important mistakes during my career, and the good ones. The good games is the easy one that you remember. And normally it's the ones that you done something or you celebrated. So all the finals that I won, obviously, Copa Rey, Winners' Cup was unique. I was lucky enough 2 months after Nayim goal to win the Copa America with my national team. At that moment, I thought, I'm touchable. Whatever. Yes, this is easy. Then also in Chelsea, Winners' Cup again, and the FA Cup and things. But me in particular, because I was very worried about those goals or important moments, for me, the old Wembley, it was very important. It was a special place for me. Special place. It was different to any stadium in the world. It was something magic in there, or at least that's how I felt it. You're playing in England at that stadium, which is the grass. I played 3 or 4 times. It was always, yes. You couldn't see a hole. It was really spectacular. Then all these important games, you were walking from behind the goal like 100 yards to the middle of the park, which was an incredible walk. So everything on that Wembley was special. And I played a semi-final against Newcastle that I scored the 2 goals to get to the final. Mm-hmm. That marked me a little bit. I was like on my place, on my way. But what I felt with the Golden Nayim and Zaragoza the next day, and 2 months later, the Copa America in my country, it's from another different world. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't celebrate us in Zaragoza in Uruguay because we are crazy. Just for you to know, we tried to go into the main street, the center city, with a bus.
Oh, man.
Impossible.
We were there 5 minutes. Police came, brought down from the top of the bus people, and we had to get away, and we couldn't celebrate it with the fun because it was impossible to control them. But I think that month is the best. As a manager, at Brighton I have 100. At Brighton I have moments where it was the only place, and this is true, and I'm speaking to everyone who's watching, it was the only club that was able a lot to sit down and watch players. They know what they're doing. They're doing it. We enjoy watching. Then you stand up to say one thing or two, but I say I was a lot sitting down. In my other clubs, I don't think I sit down for more than 30 seconds. No, I have to be there next to the touchline constantly. Okay, so in Brighton I can pick any game, but the most important game it was probably the one I got safe with Sunderland in one of the most miracles ever in English football. Again, for people to know, we got 6 games to go with 7 points from salvation.
Wow.
Okay, and we have to play from the 6 games. Man City away, champions that year.
Yeah.
Chelsea away with Mourinho, never lost at home, and Manchester United away that Sunderland never won in 48 years. Okay. So we're down, literally.
And you win all 3 games.
No, Manchester City, we started losing 1-0 after 2 minutes. They were flying. And then somehow we got a draw 2-2. They scored at the last minute, by the way, or 85th minute, 2-2. At that time, to be honest, I thought it's not enough. 1 point doesn't change anything. But then we went to Chelsea and we beat Mourinho for the first time at home with Chelsea in league. Wow. Then at home, Cardiff, easy. After winning those 2, you wouldn't lose against Cardiff at home, so we beat them 4-0. But then we went to Man United and we won 1-0.
Crazy.
And the next day, if Chelsea beat Norwich, we are safe from relegation. We were 7 points behind. And in 4 games now, we are nearly safe. Now, Chelsea drew against Norwich. So we had to win the one before the last. We had 2 games. We needed to win 1, and we beat West Brom. Incredible what I'm going to say. Man City away. Okay, I was tense. I'm Man City. Chelsea away. What can I say? Mourinho. Cardiff at home. I knew that we would be good. Man United away. I didn't know the players. 40-something years without winning. The game against West Brom. I've never been so nervous in my life.
Wow.
And we were winning 2-0 at halftime. But the halftime TeaTalk, it was so difficult for me. We were 45 minutes from salvation, we can say.
Yeah.
You want to say, don't do nothing wrong, but you didn't want the players to think that we needed to go back.
Right.
But you didn't want them to go too much forward either, because 2 minutes enough. Wow, I don't know what I say. I'm telling you, I was so blocked. And when the game finished, it was like the best day of my life. I will never feel it. Because what is watched everywhere is it was really impossible, but like this, nothing is impossible.
Repeat that last bit. We lost you for a minute.
I would say in football, they say that, some things they are not possible. Well, I can tell you, I thought it was not possible, but nothing is impossible.
That's the magic of this game. It's crazy. You never know, but it's so magical.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
So we've been chatting for about an hour. I don't want to take up much more of all of your time. We know everybody has things to do. But quickly, you have a very big fan from Chelsea fan, Gus, and he wanted to know if you could give him a quick shout out. And his name is Lawrence Eli.
Lawrence.
So
Lawrence.
I think you would make his day.
Thank you for watching. As you know, I've been there 4 years. It was quite easy for me. You have to thank Nayim. I know it's a Tottenham, but don't worry. You can thank him because he really pushed me to come to England. And then after my first injury, I think I had 3 magnificent years at Chelsea, which it became very important for me in the future. So nice talking to you. Have a good day and stay safe. Keep safe, please. That's the most important thing.
And is there any final thoughts, anything else you guys want to say? Oh, by the way, I don't know if I should be saying this.
Sure.
Sorry. I was just going to say, Andrea, last time I was chatting with Andrea, a fan said that he should write a book about his life because he had so many incredible stories, which I believe he's secretly working on, or maybe not so secretly. What should be the title of his book?
I don't have a title yet, Semra.
That's why I'm asking them. I'm asking them for some ideas of titles.
Okay, yeah.
Andrea should put something like, I don't know, quality? Or yes, something like you define yourself like saying quality of football or understanding of quality.
Andrea synonymous with quality?
No, because the situation is, I don't know how much they know Andrea. He had the most successful years in England, I think. He said about Swansea and the time of Brighton. And I don't know how much people knows him in Spain as well as I know him and what he was bringing. I'll make an example. First training session. He's doing certain things with his left foot. And I got the first team coach. He was hilarious. It was really funny. Charlie Otway. And he came back to the office and he said to me, Gaffer, he done me. I was watching and he done something with his left foot and I looked away and the ball went the other way. He said, I said, wait, there's nothing that, you're going to see him later. And it was so exciting to have a play of that because it was coming from the old-fashioned Gigi, old-fashioned English and power and thing. And having a play of that characteristic for him, it was like, wow, Then, so that's what I would look. Whatever you think is.
Well, you're gonna be in the book, Gus, for sure. So no, yeah, okay. Because if I have to
talk to my lawyers.
I think the experience Andrea had with a lot of nationalities, a Uruguayan coach and English football, Spanish football, is half Italian and maybe the book could say, universal football.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. The universal footballer.
That's right. I mean, that's. I think that what I thought. Thinking about Andrea, that he's been all over the place, and so many nationalities.
Very strong, Andrea. You need something very strong in the book.
Yeah.
You have to sell. It has to be something that you're gonna say. You know that.
A powerful message. Otherwise,
yes. Wherever somebody's gonna get hurt, but don't worry. But read the book.
Okay, that's a good advice.
Well, we're all really excited to read it. But sorry, Nayim, I interrupted you earlier when you wanted to show us your Tottenham shirt.
I'm just going to show, the only thing I have here in Zaragoza, because my things are back home in Ceuta, and it was a shirt, Tottenham shirt, and that's the shirt that I played in the Legend Games against Inter Milan, and it's like Nayim here, my name, and it was number 50, sorry. And why 50?
His face is like, what?
And now why 50? Because of the yards of the goal. I mean, the club spoke to me, said, you don't mind if we put 50 in the shirt. I said, why? Because of the yards of the goal. You know what I mean? Because every time I go to Tottenham,
and about the song,
yeah, I was singing the song "Nayim from the halfway line." I mean, every time I go, they start singing. This is crazy. The thing is that goal makes happy the Zaragoza fans and the Tottenham fans.
Of course, anyone who is, as long as it's not going against Arsenal, then everybody's happy.
That's right, because we won against the Gunners.
They still singing it. They still think I've been at the stadium of Tottenham and they still thinking,
crazy.
It's unbelievable. Every time they play Arsenal, they remember Seaman and company that Nayim scored from that line.
This game is just, it's crazy. It's beautiful. It's magic. It's magic.
That it is. Any parting thoughts from anybody else?
No, stay safe, boys. Let's fight this together. The more we stay at home, the easier it's going to be to finish this. And this thing, Semra, that you proposed, it was fantastic for people at home to be entertained as well. So anytime you want, we are here. I suppose Gigi and Andrea as well. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
We can talk for ages.
There's plenty more stories that need to be shared. So
yeah, important. I keep saying, just keep safe, be patient. Obviously, do something. I mean, training, keep yourself like doing exercises. That's important. Mm-hmm. I just lost 6 kilos in this because I'm eating better and
Nice,
and that's what the bad thing. Just get the good thing from the bad thing. This is bad for us, for all of us. It's crazy, but obviously, you have to learn about and be positive, and that's what we're doing.
Andre, back to school.
Back to school now. Yeah.
With the kids.
I've got my daughters here, running around and asking for attention. So now it's my turn to. No, I actually have to cook now. I have to cook the lunch, and then we have some lessons after. Yeah, even though it's Saturday, but now it's difficult to give like a routine. But right. We're trying to keep them busy, as Nayim said. Try to stay fit, try to do some activities, and I'm trying to keep my brain busy with that book as well. I'm watching lots of old games, so sometimes it's 11 p.m. and I still have something to do, which is crazy. Being home, but just make the most of it, as Nayim said. From a bad situation, try to turn it into something positive, and it will be over soon. Hopefully, we'll be okay. Yeah. Just stay safe.
Definitely. Well, thanks to the three of you. It was so much fun, and I'm so happy to see all of you are doing well, and you're safe, and you're looking great, and taking care of yourselves, and staying active. And hopefully we'll all see each other soon.
A pleasure.
Thank you very much, Semra.
A pleasure.
We'll talk again sometime soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody else who was with us. Hope you enjoyed.
Ciao, Nayim. Ciao, guys.
Ciao.